Hey everybody, I'm back for another day. Today I'm going to use my Frankenstein bass. I went through one of the videos I did was about gear, and I did a total explanation of this bass and why it's called Frankenstein and everything. And this bass I used on probably, I would say, 80 to 85% of everything I recorded since 1973 when we built this bass. So this has a wonderful pedigree on it, and it's absolutely covered with all kinds of autographs and people that have come and gone, that are no longer with us, and I'm still occasionally adding to it if I find somebody who really inspires me in a big way. And I've had a bunch of requests for different songs and stuff. I'm not really a jukebox. I mean, I'm like really trying to remember a lot of these things and putting in a little bit of time just so I can get some kind of a performance on them. And basically the balance is always weird because I'm trying to feature the bass parts that I did on these songs. On the records you can hear them, but on the live stuff sometimes it's a little harder to hear because a lot of the live stuff is it's in, arenas and stadiums, and bass just has problems sometimes reaching every note out front. But one of the things I was asked quite a bit about was, how about some Toto songs? I may get to some Toto songs, but one of the things I also have always enjoyed is doing Steve Lukather's solo stuff. Luke, I've known Luke since he was 19 years old. I did some of his very first sessions when he first got started in this business. And he is an absolute beast on so many levels. I mean, the guy's a really fine pianist. I've heard him sit at the drums and play great drums. But he's one of the most stellar worldly guitar players I've ever known. He was that way when I met him when he was a squirt. So, I thought I would do one of his songs to get started with that. And this is, I think the album was called Ever-Changing Times. It's a couple of solo albums back. It was the one I was doing with him, I think, when he asked me if I could go out with Toto, because Mike was really quite ill at that point and unable to continue on the tour. And that's when Steve said, can you do this? And I'm pretty sure this was the one, because I did two of his last solo albums, and I think this might have been it. But this is really a fun groove tune called Stab in the Back. And it's Luke, myself, Abe Laboriel Jr., who's like I've known since he was a little kid, and his father, Abe Sr., is one of my favorite bass players and human beings in the world. And I've done a lot of records with Abe Jr., but he's been out with McCartney now for years doing that gig. And Jeff Babko on keyboards, who is an absolute brilliant keyboard player. So it was just the four of us hunkered down in the Steakhouse studio, Luke's studio, and we went for it in there. And I will do my best to get through this. It's been a long time since I've played this, but it's a really fun tune. So let's see what happens, and then we'll talk afterwards. And then you can either hold up cards that say 10 or 1 or minus 10. We'll see how it goes. So here we are. It's a lot to remember in that one. Playing with Abe was always great. Abe is such a fabulous pocket player. And Luke is Luke, man. I love that man dearly. Been through a lot with him over the years, and I treasure his friendship. Other than that, I think that is going to be it for the day. I'm looking out my window at a tree that has a lot of dead wood, so I'm going to get my pole pruner out. It's really hot today. It's in the low 90s here. But I'm going to get my pole pruner out and my ladder and venture up into the tree and do some serious trimming and getting some dead wood out of there. I had a couple of stories I was going to tell, but I think I'll wait for tomorrow and pass them on. I'm trying desperately to keep my YouTube channel a musical channel. And I've had a few the comments have been great. I really appreciate what everybody's saying, but I really don't need people coming on here and using it as an anti-me political platform. So please, man, if you're not here for the music, really just don't come here. I want to keep this just as something that we can share. I might throw something out every once in a while just about the state of things that are going on and some of the stuff I'm seeing happening around me, but it's my channel. So, respect me enough where you're not going to come in here and turn it into something else. When I'm back on Facebook, you can come on, because I get trolled there constantly, and I'll probably be thrown off again within days of getting back on. I think the longest, I did 30 days off, 3 days on, and then 30 days off. So we'll see what happens there. But for the moment, it's so cool in my neighborhood. 7 o'clock every night, everybody's out honking their car horns. This is kind of a countrywide thing at this point. People are doing this. I think it started in New York, where everybody was out on their balconies, yelling and tooting horns and all that. So the neighbors here have all gotten into it, and it's really cool. But really, at the bottom of it all, man, it's our hearts are all in there with all the people that are working so hard on a daily basis to make this all stay as sane as it possibly can, because it just feels so crazy as time goes on. It's really, really difficult, and I understand people's frustration. There's people that are basically out there that have been living paycheck to paycheck. That paycheck ran out a long time ago with this going on, and there's so much red tape going on with the government trying to get any kind of funds to these people. I can really feel their anger and frustration at this, and I hope that stuff gets resolved and that people can be taken care of as quickly as possible, because we just don't know what the duration of this is going to be before we can actually really venture out into a healthy atmosphere. So we'll see what happens, but thank you so much to all of you people that are working so hard every day to keep shelves stocked, keep the mail coming, to keep everything, picking up our trash, all the doctors and nurses that are dealing with horrors beyond any of our comprehension on a daily basis, and doing it as the true heroic figures that they are. So, man, when you get a moment, just take a silent moment in your day and just thank these people for everything they're doing. And I will see you tomorrow. Just be good to your family and your friends, and take care. And we'll get through this. So I'm going to take a listen to this now, and if my performance really kind of was not up to my par, I might redo it. I don't know. It's such an odd thing to record this way. I've never recorded this way, with this perspective of things and my bass blasting at me and everything. But I'm not really set up with a home system here. Just so it's a little frustrating when I listen back and I go, could have been better, because I'm focused on what I'm hearing and not on my playing. But hopefully it was adequate. I strive to be adequate. So here's hoping. Take good care. I'll see you tomorrow.